Hello, Joybert, Dr. Joybert
Hi, Chris.
Javnyuy.
How are you doing? How are you doing today?
All is well. Yourself?
Doing good, doing good.
Wonderful. Are you ready?
I'm set.
Okay, please introduce yourself.
All right, before I do that, thank you so much again for the privilege to be part of this record-breaking event that you are doing. And of course, at the same time, you are transforming lives. And anytime knowledge and practical experience is communicated, somebody somewhere is definitely learning something and being impacted. And thank you so much. And kudos to the resilience, the commitment, and of course the big heart, the large heart to do something like this is commendable. So my name is Dr. Joybert Javnyuy. I am Cameroonian, and my work cut across training and consulting, and of course entrepreneurship. And in the last decade and more, I have done a lot of work across the African continent in terms of providing enterprises, corporate institutions, and even government bodies the the tech the technicalities, the policies, and of course the trainings, especially when it comes to developing the right skill set for young people to be employable, and of course enterprise development skills for people in business.
Wonderful. And today we are talking about employability skills for young Africans.
Yes.
Okay, so I guess the first question will be, what is it with employability skills for young Africans that makes it a huge case on the continent and probably beyond? Because obviously we see the numbers coming from the US.
Mhm.
So what do you think makes it such a huge issue right now in different nations?
Yeah, when it comes to the topic of unemployment in general, it is a big topic. And of course, one of the presidents in Africa during an AU meeting said that unemployment is a ticking time bomb in Africa. And there are many factors contributing to the unemployment rate in Africa, same as, of course, many other continents. But one of those key factors is unemployability of the young people across the continent. So you will find people who are graduates, people who have been able to acquire the right education, so to say. But when it comes to really being practically employable, having the right skills that they can be able to create the value that the marketplace needs, it becomes a challenge. And I've been privileged to be part of a couple of research and of course, outreach programs. And we have practically seen the challenge that exists between employers getting people with the right skills, and of course, young people being ready for the job market, but not having the right skills to be able to get the jobs that are available. So there is this integration between what employers need and, of course, what the young people are able to provide as far as skill set is concerned. So to be able to contribute to overcoming this ticking time bomb of unemployment, one of the key things that we need to start working on is helping the young people to have the right employability skills. And one of the funny things about this is that that the young people that finish high school or complete high school, not all of them get to go to the university. So we have so many young people with high school diplomas but cannot compete in the job market. And the only way that we can contribute or help them to be partakers in the job market is to help them get the right skills that can make them employable with their high school diplomas. And at the same time, we have university graduates who don't have the practical skills to create value in the marketplace. But and we have employers struggling, to actually get the right value creators for their businesses. So it's a kind of one of the core things that needs to be sorted out and pay close attention in helping overcoming unemployment across Africa.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Joybert. Okay, so obviously you've been working in this environment for a while now.
Mhm.
Yeah. So what are the success stories that you've seen that makes it um, easy for you to, see light at at the end of the tunnel, so to say?
Yeah. We have had a good number of success stories because one of the things that we were able to do in my organization was to create kind of an ecosystem where we have a training center that focuses on providing employability skills to these young people, both on site with our campus in Cameroon, and of course, online platforms that we train across the African continent. And we also have a recruitment a company, and of course, we partner with job boards where we create a platform where employers can come through us to be able to get people that are employable. And of course, the people that we train, we create a pool where we get to promote to employers across different nations that, hey, we have people that apart from their degrees, they have some form of relevant skill set that can enable them to create value and to sell the value that they are creating. So we have young people that have been able to get jobs after being unemployed for 3 years, for 5 years. And of course, in relevant organizations, we have some that after being unemployed for so long and going through the program, they're able to start their own businesses. And we have a lot of small businesses, hundreds of them across different African countries that have been able to start building their businesses the right way because they're able to recruit the right people. And just to mention that in the last 10 years plus, the Center for Entrepreneurship, Leadership, and Business Management Development has been able to train over 28,000 young people across Africa with these different employability skills and enterprise development skills. So we have incredible testimonies of people getting first-time jobs, some getting promotions, and of course, one of the things we promote strongly, I always use the phrase that as a young person who is looking for a job, one of the best things you can do is find a place where you can use your time and use the knowledge you have to start creating value so you are able to get a position where somebody can find you. So everybody that we train, we strongly encourage them to be volunteers either in local youth organizations, in NGOs, even in churches, anywhere there are human beings where you can serve, we push them to have that mindset of serving and being able to practice, what they're learning through our training programs.
That's really interesting. Okay. So if you wouldn't mind, what do you do now?
Well, I still do a lot of trainings. It's one of my primary. I call it my calling. I do a lot of trainings, a lot of speaking across different countries, and it primarily at the moment it focuses a lot on corporate training and of course speaking in different conferences that center around still skills development and of course strategy and a lot more in the area of executive coaching for different leaders across different nations. Yeah.
Mhm. Dr. Joybert, if I delay in getting back to you, don't worry about me. I'll I will definitely answer you.
That's
I'm
fine. I understand.
I'm fighting the powers of sleep.
I understand.
They want to make me sleep, but I'm pushing hard. Okay,
A great
that's
man.
huh?
So you're a great man. It's not easy.
Man too. You're a great man too. You are awake to join us in this session. So you're a great man too. Yeah. So the question I have, my next question will be, um, do you consider that at some point you would come back to Africa to establish the best practices?
I'm actually based in Africa. It's just because of the nature of my work that I get to travel a lot. My home is Africa, and uh, born there, bred there, and I believe that Africa is the future. And of course, it's the best place for me, really, as a person, the culture, the people. I've had the privilege to be in Accra 2 times, to be in Ghana 2 times, and it's one of my favorite places to actually visit. And of course, I got a new friend, and that is you. So hopefully next time I'm in Accra, I will definitely reach out to you, and we get to meet face to face apart from LinkedIn. So yeah, I'm always in Africa. All of my businesses are in Africa at the moment. So, and the goal of the vision and the purpose and everything I'm doing actually centers around the African continent as far as the work we do is concerned. Yeah.
That's great. That's great. So the project you said is for early career professional.
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
So what should we be expecting from you in the next few years?
Um, in the next few years, one of the things that we really want to do is to really play that integral role when it comes to policy making, because the impact that we have created through the organizations I run is what you can call B2C, right? Business to customers, like us to young people, us to the graduate, to the job seekers, to the entrepreneurs, to the professionals that we help them, that we help train them. But one of the things that we want to start doing is to start doing B2B, where we are able to partner with governments, partner with relevant institutions to contribute in um, uh, the policy framework, because we are doing it from the place of practicality. Apart from running businesses where I get to recruit people to for my businesses, I understand the challenges and the pain of recruiting the right people, and of course at the same time, being able to be a consultant to numerous businesses across Africa. I have seen the headaches that they go through, and so having that real marketplace experience, and at the same time, part of my career has been able to cut across the academic sector. I did lecture in 2 universities a few times, and of course, was a high school teacher at one point. So I'm trying. One of the things that we're trying to work on now is trying to balance all of this experience and the academics to really create frameworks, and of course be part of those stakeholders that can conduct labor market analysis to solve that skills in demand situations, and of course contribute practically, and of course scaling the work that we do. One of my dreams actually is that at some point very soon, everything that I run as an institution should be able to have operations in all central regions across Africa. So we have offices in West African offices, East African offices, North Africa, Southern Africa, and so on. Because as I said, the work that we do is African driven, is continental, of course, driven, and that is one of the things that we are really working on. And of course, creating a strong partnership with other leaders in the same sector, that we can do much more together. Because one of the things that we really need to promote across Africa is cooperation and partnership between people in similar sectors, so we can do a lot more as far as our projects and impacts are concerned.
Dr. Joybert.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I'm going to beg you to repeat your last comment. I missed it.
Now, what I was saying is, as per the what we're planning to do, a few things that we are planning on doing is um, transitioning a lot to being in key areas where we can use our experience, our data, and of course the work that we have done to contribute to policy, and of course serve larger corporations in the work that we do, and of course being able to expand our on-site operations in key African regions as far as the work that we do is concerned. So that is in a broader perspective, that is what we're looking at doing, especially when it concerns, we call it our goal for this decade. So 2020 to 2030 is what we are actually focusing on in a broader perspective. But when we begin to break this down, it is huge. It needs a lot of resources and a lot of partnership with other people. Yeah.
Wonderful. Anytime you are in Accra, you can pass by. Um, it would be great for us to find a way we can, collaborate. As you know, we have a the digital career acceleration program, which helps early career professionals to get into tech jobs.
Mhm.
So yeah, that would be great to see where we can collaborate. Well,
Absolutely. That would be great.
yeah. So on to the next one. My next question, of course, will be uh, we are talking about employability skills, but what about digital skills for the founders themselves?
Yeah. As I said, a part of the programs that we do at the Center for Entrepreneurship, Leadership, and Business Management Development is employability skills and enterprise development skills. So when it comes to enterprise development skills, we work a lot with entrepreneurs. One of our most successful programs that we have been running in the last few years is known as the Mini MBA program, which focuses on training founders to grow in strategy and execution when it comes to building their businesses. And of course, digital skills is actually part of that. We get to merge what we call digital transformation and digital skill set. So the goal here, that course, the aim is to train founders to have the mindset on how they can be able to, use technology to transform their processes and, of course, expand their businesses and, of course, train them on what we like to call industry related digital skills. So what we try to do here is we try to work with various founders to help them to be able to analyze based on my industry, based on the industry where my business operate, what are the core digital skills that I need to know and grow in order to build my business. For example, an entrepreneur who runs a business in marketing and an entrepreneur who runs a business in finance, they may have some certain similar digital skill set that they need to learn, but at some point there will be some unique technical skill, digital skills that they will need to learn and be experts in based on the industries that they operate in. So we get to work with these founders a lot, and so for many of them, we help adopt digital skills training framework for their businesses when it comes to helping them develop their teams to keep on upskilling and reskilling in the work that they do. Yeah, so it is a core part of what we do with founders and, of course, executive leaders.
Wonderful. Okay. So I see that we have lots of alignment between our works. Um, by the way, is there any of these fellowships that you're already working with? like the fellowships that support young Africans? Are there any of the ones that you're already working with?
I have been privileged to be participants on some of these fellowships. Um, so, like the Mandela Washington Fellowship program with the Yali program.
Yeah.
And yes, we have been able to partner, especially with our US Embassy in Cameroon, to provide some trainings to young people across in Cameroon. And of course, the last time that I was actually in Ghana, I was invited by the Yali Center in Gimpa, and I was leading a training for the one of the cohorts there, especially for the entrepreneurship track. So we partnered with them to do that. And I think 2 years ago, I was one of the lead facilitators for the Obama Foundation Africa program for their young people. So we have been able to do some work with these people. And for Tony Lumelu program, we have provided mentorship and training and helping them to prepare entrepreneurs in Cameroon to apply for the program and, of course, make good use of the funds that some of them get to benefit from the program. So yeah, we've been able to technically partner, but many of these partnerships have not been formal apart from the Yali program and Obama program for like the Tony Lumelu program and some of these mini fellowships. Just because we're a center that it's well known that we have very good programs around young people and entrepreneurs. So many of these participants of this program just come and trust us with mentorship and training and follow-ups, and local associations in Cameroon, of course, do trust us in these areas, and we work with them to, impact the young people in their various programs. Yeah, so there have been some form of relationship and, of course, partnership with these organizations.
Dr. Joybert, that's wonderful. Um, we have a few more minutes, but let me ask you a few personal questions. You know,
That's fine.
while I force through disallowing sleep to distract me. I keep fighting sleep. So your academics were all in the African continent, right?
Yes.
Okay. And now you are working in the US. Where do you see the difference?
Um, we have not. I don't really. I can only say I'm based in the US per se. So I mostly come here for work and do some speakings and consultings and many of these things here and there. And so I don't think I'm really in a good position to really explain the major difference that really exists in this for somebody who have lived. If there's somebody who have lived in the U.S. for a couple of years, maybe they can really explain that. But one thing I can say is the US market for some people I've been able to work with in training and of course in business is that um, the the way they structure their curriculum is very marketplace driven. And in terms of the business cases, like for example, I've been able to do some work with business schools here and there. And their business programs are business case driven, very, very business case driven. So that's why you can see that somebody can leave a US university and get their first job as a consultant or an analyst in a top, consulting firm like McKinsey or any of these firms, because, in their school program, it is very, very business case driven, very practical. As I said earlier, I've had the privilege to lecture in universities in Cameroon, part-time lecturer, and I've been a guest lecturer in a few universities here and there. So I've seen some of their programs. It's still a very much theoretically driven, and it's not really structured in a way that people can really live with those marketplace skills in such a powerful, practical way. Of course, a lot of universities are definitely transforming that and improving on their curriculum and making it much better and much practical. And again, this brings us back to the earlier part of the discussion where one of the things that we have been working on with some private universities in Africa is being able to encourage them to partner a lot with business leaders in their communities to design curriculum for their university students so that when they leave, they're living with something practical and something driven that they can become value creators when they leave the university. So that's one major difference. But again, we are catching up, we are learning, and there's a lot of improvement now than it used to be a couple of years ago. Yeah.
I'm back. Okay, contesting the power of the air.
We are
uh,
almost there.
yeah, I know. I'm at the critical period where, transitioning from the previous day to the new day is always like a fight,
Yeah.
like a fight of
Yeah.
fate. So I have like 2 hours. If I win these 2 hours, then I've won the next day. So yeah, I just have to add a little bit more strength.
Yeah. Yeah. Strength is coming your way.
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming.
Yeah.
So what? When are you? When will you be returning?
Um, well, I can always do that any moment. As a business person, where business calls, you definitely appear. So
Right.
I mostly travel based on where I'm needed and where work needs to be done. So um, if the next morning there's a call to speak somewhere, to train somewhere, to do some work somewhere, here I go. So um, I'm really hoping that I should be in Accra very, very soon and to definitely catch up with you. Yeah,
No problem at all. No problem. Anytime you are in the country, just let me know. Let me
absolutely.
and we will link up. In the
Definitely.
meantime, was there anything you needed my response on that I haven't expressed opinion?
Um, I think one of the things that I was we could talk on is what are those core employability skills that from our experience and of course doing trainings here and there and the success stories we have seen and working with different businesses that we think that if young people can be able to grow in them and develop them, it's going to help them to be very employable not only now but of course in the next coming years. And in this dispensation, you cannot talk about employability skills without talking about the future of work and the future of organizations. Organizations of the future, they'll be looking for certain types of skills. And whether we like it or not, the future is coming. And one of our responsibilities is to train our young people to be ready for that future. Somebody said that we cannot change the future, but we can train our young people to be ready for the future that is actually coming. And that future is it's not about 20 years and 20 years to come, but it's next year, it's the next 2 years, the next 5 years, next 10 years. And a lot is changing very fast. And our young people needs to be ready. Our people as a whole, we need to be ready for what is actually coming as a workforce. Yeah.
Wonderful. So, um, so you work with both entrepreneurs and job seekers, huh?
Yes.
So now the question is, sometimes we design programs and we target for entrepreneurs and we design let's say digital skills for entrepreneurs.
Mhm.
Type of digital skills can an entrepreneur need that might be different from what a job seeker, no, I should say a career professional need?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, from my experience and from my perspective, and as somebody who owns businesses, I've been able to start over 7 businesses in my time in so far. Um, 3 have failed, and I always say I think I'm a good business consultant because I've failed in businesses. It makes it better to help you not to fail. So, and in my experience so far, I would say that the top digital skill that founders needs to have is to understand digital transformation, because um, a good founder who will be able to build a business that will, stand the test of time and be able to adapt need to keep on understanding how technology and digital platforms can be able to transform their businesses. I always fondly say there's this popular book that I think many people across Africa will know in secondary school, written by Adam Smith. I think is a Wealth of Nations, talking about economics and all of that. And in that book, he was talking about the factors of production, talking about labor, capital, entrepreneurial land, and all of that. And I always fondly say that if you bring the writer of that book in this dispensation, that person would definitely add digital platforms and digital tools as part of, the key factors that an entrepreneur will need when it comes to producing anything. So I strongly believe that founders in across Africa, one of the core skills that they need to have in terms of digital skills is digital transformation. How can they leverage on digital platforms, digital tools and applications, or whatever technology to transform their processes, transform how they create value, transform how they package value, transform how they market this value, and of course, transform, how they improve their entire operations as a whole. Because one of the major things that every founder needs to focus on is how do I improve my business? And anything that can help in that business improvement is important for them. And then the second digital skill set in this area is what we call developing industry related digital skills. So as a founder, if you run a business, one of the things you need to pay attention to is what are those key digital skills that if my team members have, my business will become better. My business will keep on growing and will keep on thriving. So this becomes very important. So as a founder, we do not need to be blank or ignorant when it comes to key industry related skills that every core team member needs to develop and needs to improve or needs to keep on upskilling in order to keep the business running. So I believe that if founders can have these 2 key skills, every other digital skill will fall into place, and they will definitely be able to, move their businesses forward in such a great way, and of course see some level of profitability in what they to do. And just to add, which is that data-driven decision making, which is important because when you're talking about data-driven decision making right now, you're talking about various platforms that can help people to analyze data, and even generative AI now is very powerful at analyzing data. So being able to leverage these platforms, digital platforms that can help in data analysis, and of course using these analysis to make business informed decisions that can move their business forward is definitely very important for founders across Africa. Right. I know that you're catching some rest. Hello, Chris. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
All right.
Dr. Joybert,
Yes, Chris.
I'm back.
Awesome.
Okay, so I think I've exhausted my questions. Do you have any for me?
Um, I did read a little background story on why you are doing this, but I think it'll be different if you share with me the story and why is it important to you to do this, and so far so good. Are there any lessons that you're picking from this particular project that you feel that will make you a different leader, a different entrepreneur, a different social impact leader after this project?
Well, I guess firstly, doing this is to mobilize scholarship for our young leaders going through the Ready for Work programming. Um, Essentially to get them ready for the industry, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, it was something I never thought I would eventually do because you know only the only person who doesn't know how tough it is to stay up for this number of days, only getting to sleep for a few minutes. Um, yeah, if you haven't done it, you wouldn't understand how challenging it is to the body, to the mind, you know. But I think in terms of keep take away from it, yeah, I mean when I'm successful when I'm successful in the process, um, it will be a huge thing for me because it will mean that I've overcome my body's need to sleep
Mm-hmm.
and to rest all this period. I think it will be more than I don't know. I still I'm surprised, even at this point, I'm still surprised at myself that I've even gotten to the point where we are now because I never in my conscious thinking imagined that, yeah, I guess what I'm trying to say is a at this point is a feat already for me, right? Is a feat,
Mm-hmm.
which 5 years ago I would tell you, no, 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 I can't even do that, you know.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I guess it would toughen my skin. I would believe in myself more. I do
Mm-hmm.
believe in myself already, but as a takeaway, I'll believe in myself more and I will be more grateful to knowing that people can always rally behind me to support the
Absolutely.
projects that we do because I can't possibly have done this alone.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It took very, very many people who helped to mobilize the speakers, helped to circulate the information, some of which are some people whom I haven't actually met before. Um, and yeah, so even my guys that are helping to do different things in the background.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a it's a community effort in short,
Absolutely. Mm. That's so good. That's
It's
so good.
amazing.
Yeah.
Um, it's amazing, and I really pray and hope that we end up with the 96 hours as scheduled. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
I
it will make
definitely
me very happy.
I definitely think that you are on your way to breaking that record, and making the decision to actually do that, I think, is already a big win. Because I mean, when it comes to fear, I like the way somebody defined fear as either you forget everything and run, and you could have done that. When this idea came to your mind, you could have thought about it and you say, you know what, forget it, and you run away and you never do it. Or somebody said fear can be defined as you face everything and you rise. And I think that you have come to that place where you have made up your mind that, I will face everything as far as this is concerned, and I will rise above it. And one thing I've learned in entrepreneurship over the years is that true entrepreneurs at their core don't fail. Even if you start an initiative, you start anything, like I said earlier, I have failed in about 4 businesses, losing a couple of millions in them. But you see, I've been able to use those lessons as a consultant, as a trainer, to make more money and to change more lives and to help more visions to stand, because I can now tell other people who are starting afresh or who are in crisis situations what not to do, because I did it and I messed up. So whatever we find to do as entrepreneurs, we don't fail, we only become better. Either we rise or we learn and we rise again, and only keep going. But I think that where we are, and of course how far you've come, I think that the record will definitely be a success story. So kudos
Thank
to
you.
that. Really, really kudos. Uh,
Thank you.
you see,
Thank
as a Christian, as a Christian, the only time I get to stay overnight without sleeping is when I'm doing all night in church. So, and I know how difficult it can be for one night, not to talk of you doing it for a couple of nights. So, um, well done to what you're doing. Um,
yeah.
so, let me ask you a second question. Um, we get to have a lot of similarities in the work that um, we get to do. From, of course, we have been friends on LinkedIn for some time, and I've seen the incredible work that you actually do, and the various things that you do, especially for young people. Um, based
Say,
on this, based on this project that you are on right now, and if you were to meet a younger self, somebody who is younger than you, based on right from the planning stage to even at this very moment right now, the price you have paid, the pains, and of course your body is getting weak, and all of that, all this that you're picking. If you are to meet a younger person, um, and 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 they're in a place of fear, they're in a place of um, should I do it? Should I not do it? They're in a place of people defining them. What will you tell that younger person?
I mean some of the words that you used. You said if I met my younger self.
Yes, if you meet a younger person, or your younger self, or a university student, or anybody just younger than you, and they're in a point where they have these crazy ideas they want to do, and maybe there's fear, there is people's opinions easily define that person, or those group of people. What will you tell them based on what you have learned so far, even up to now, knowing that whatever path that you take, there'll be pain, there'll be some suffering, there'll be some sacrifices they're going to make. What will you tell
Yeah.
that young person?
Yeah, I got to, I mean, I will say to the person, you need to understand where your strength is. My strength is in if I say with my mouth, then I have to do it because it can be that I say something and I don't do it.
Mhm.
But I mean, the first day, everything in my body told me to quit. You know, every muscle in my body said, wrap it up and draw.
Wow.
every person, my body said, wrap it up. After all, if you fall down here, you know, it will be the worst case scenario. You
Mm-hmm.
know, my legs were doing like this, and my eyes were almost turning. It was like a difficult situation. But somehow I knew I could go for one extra. I said, okay, let me take it 1 hour at a time.
Mm-hmm.
One extra hour, 1 extra hour, 1 extra hour. And eventually, after a while, my body came back to normal. So yeah, um, I would say to the individual, you need to understand yourself. I know myself. I know when I cannot bear it anymore. If I got to that point where I couldn't bear it, yeah, maybe I would have given up. So yeah, understand yourself. Quitting is not it's not necessarily bad if you realize that you can't take it because the other side of it is if you quit to not faint, yeah, then probably you regroup to try again. But if you faint on camera, that's not too good a sight. It wouldn't be too good a sight, you know. Yeah, because also the first day I couldn't eat properly.
Yeah.
I couldn't eat properly. I didn't time myself, or I didn't give myself enough time. Oh no, not necessarily because today is still the same, but I ate today. I guess your first day you didn't want to mess up, and um, I guess that's what.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but the second day now, 20 minutes is enough to take a bath, brush your teeth, and run back, continue again. Well, so might this be one of the things you could possibly consider doing yourself?
Funny enough, there was a time that I thought maybe I would do a public speaking
Uh,
Guinness World Record. Uh,
uh,
but I don't think that my level of bravery and courage is up to yours. I think that my bravery quotient and courage quotient is not up to your level yet to someday do that.
that's the full
And
public speaking. Yeah.
so it's I don't know what I was. I think I was talking with a couple of friends, and we were like, if you were supposed to do a Guinness World Record challenge, what will you do? I said, you know what, I do speak a lot. Sometimes in a week, sometimes you could speak in about 6 different events, sometimes different countries, and so that's the only thing I get to do effortlessly, and so that's what I was thinking about, but. Um, Again, as I said, I don't think that my bravery and courage quotient level is not yet at that high level like yours that I can embark on this yet. So
Yeah, but
maybe someday.
if it's something you want to do, you can try it. I mean, you can try it, then you are sure, because right now you don't have any data to use to prove that your answer is correct. You know, right
Yeah,
now it's an assumption.
yeah,
There's
it
no
is. It's
there's no data that shows that you're right.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So perhaps you can try it.
Let's see. Maybe you will inspire me to try it someday.
I
But
mean,
for now, I recently got married. I recently got married, so for now, let me focus on enjoy my wife.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, so which part are you in Accra? I don't I'm not very good with Accra, but I know a few places in Accra. Um, and I know the Accra Mall, I know the Spintex Road, I know where Gimpa is, I know the market, a few areas. Which one is closer to you? I know the conference center. I know airport. There's one, I think it's Airport City. Is there a name, got a name like that? A neighborhood? Can't remember, but I think there is. So which part of Accra are you doing the event? I think I
You
lost
can hear
you.
me.
Yes,
You
I
should
can
hear
hear
me
you
now.
now. Yes, I can hear you now.
Yeah. Not far away from Accra Mall.
Okay, okay, awesome.